In this video, we'll be solving longest consecutive sequence. So in this problem, we are given with unsorted array of integer nums, written the length of the longest consecutive elements sequence. You must write an algorithm that runs in big O of n time. Let's visually analyze the examples. So this is the question that we are given with. We will be adding all these elements into the hash set in order to remove the duplicates. Then we will find the sequence starting point. So if we have to find a continuous sequence of numbers, then first of all we'll need to find the starting point. So in this next step, we'll be finding the starting point of the sequence of numbers. First of all, in our set we have 100 has the number, so we'll check if 100 forms the starting point or not. So once we enter 100, we check if 99 is present. If 99 is not present, then 100 is the starting point. Sequence has 100 in it, and the length of the sequence is 1 because we don't have any element after 100 and before 100 in our given set. Next, moving on to the second, fourth element, we don't check for now. If we go for the fourth element, that is 4. When we check 4, we check for 4 minus 1, that is 3. 3 is present in the set. So the sequence will contain 4, 3. Then the length becomes 2. Then moving on to 3 will be checked again. 3 minus 1 is present. So yes, it is present. That's true. 2 will be added to the sequence. And then the length of the sequence will be 3. Then 2 minus 1 is 1. So sequence starting point will be 1. That's how it happens. But now let's check for 200. 200 minus 1 is 199. Then our program will check if 199 is present in the sequence or not. If it's not present, then the starting point will be 200 itself. So the sequence will contain 200 and its length will be 1. Then moving on to the element 1. When we go for 1, our program will check if 0 is present or not. 0 is not present, so the starting will be 1. And we check if 1 plus 1 is present, 2 is present, 3 is present, 4 is present. Meanwhile, while checking, we have one more variable called length, which will keep track of how many numbers are in sequence after the starting point. This 2, 3, 4 cannot be the starting point because we check it, right, if number minus 1 is present or not. So these 3 cannot be the starting point at any cost. Now moving on to the algorithm. In the algorithm, first of all, we need to add all the elements given to us in the array into the hash set, and then for each number we need to check if the number minus 1 is absent. If it's absent, then it's the sequence starting point. Then keep checking if number plus 1 is present, number plus 2 is present, number plus 3 is present, and so on. Meanwhile, we need to keep the count of the longest length, and at the end we need to return the longest length. Now let's look at how we could code this. First of all, declare a hash set of integer. Let's name it as set is equal to new hash set. Then we will add all the elements from the array int I nums into the set dot add I. Okay, now we added the set into the array. Now we have to check every number. Before that, we will initialize a variable called longest, which will store the longest length of the sequence. For int I of set, if it does not contain set dot contains n I minus 1, then that's the starting point, right? If that is the starting point, then we write a variable called start and assign I to that. And then we need one more variable called the length, which will be initially 1. This length is 1 because if any number is present and it's the starting point, the length will be 1 because that will be considered, right? Now this is considered. Now if I minus 1 is not present, then that's the starting point and the length will be equal to 1. Now we have checked for the previous elements of I, but what about the next elements? That is what we'll check now. If set dot contains I plus 1, then we need to increment start plus plus, and length also has to be increased because the next element is present, right? And then now here we need to find the longest. Math.max if length is longest or longest, our previous length is the longest. And then finally we need to return longest. That's all. Oh no, here, not here, here. Let's test. Oh god, where did we go wrong? Oh, here, this should have been while loop, right? Because we are checking for each and every start, like start plus 1 after the start. So I hope you guys got to know why it is so. It's because, see, after the start, you are checking it for every next appearance. So it should occur how many times the next element is present in our given array, right? That's why it's while. Now let's talk about the complexity. So the time complexity is big O of n because we are adding the elements, n elements to the hash set, and each number is counted in a sequence only once. Then we have the space complexity, which is big O of n because HashSet stores at most n unique numbers. That's all. Thank you.